The armory smelled of oil and iron, an echo of wars past and battles yet to come. Rows of rifles, crates of ammunition, scopes that gleamed under dim light. It was a sanctuary of steel. To most soldiers passing through, she was invisible. Just another uniform. Corporal Elena Reyes. A woman who logged serial numbers, cleaned rifles, stacked ammunition crates. She never spoke of her past, and no one thought to ask. But there was something in the way her hands moved. Every weapon she touched seemed to recognize her, to relax beneath her fingers. Like the steel trusted her more than the men who carried it into battle. That illusion of anonymity shattered one humid afternoon. A squad of special operations soldiers stormed in after a brutal field exercise. Dust clung to their boots, sweat soaked their collars, and laughter rolled through the armory. The laughter of men who believed they had nothing left to prove. At the center was Sergeant Damian Cross, a sniper whose name carried the weight of legend. Records broken. Shots made at distances no one dared to imagine. He walked with the swagger of a man convinced the earth bent beneath his crosshairs. Reyes kept her eyes on the weapon before her, a .50 caliber sniper rifle. Its barrel glinted under fluorescent light as she carefully catalogued it. Cross noticed the way her fingers traced the rifle's stock. His smirk sharpened. "Cross, you ever even fired one of these?" His voice carried, drawing the room's attention. The laughter that followed was sharp, mocking. Reyes didn't answer. Silence was her instinct. But among soldiers, silence is often mistaken for weakness. Cross leaned closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "Cross, tell you what. There's a ridge 3 clicks out, steel plate at 3,900 meters. No man here would even dream of hitting it. I'll bet every stripe on my sleeve you won't come close." The room stilled. 3,900 meters. Beyond reason. Beyond history. Reyes set the rifle down with care, as though placing a secret into the world. Her voice was calm, steady. Reyes set up the target. The armory erupted. Some laughed, others shook their heads. Cross grinned, already savoring her humiliation. By the time they reached the ridge, the desert sun was sinking low, painting the horizon in fire and violet. The steel plate shimmered in the distance, barely visible through the haze. A mirage at the edge of the world. The squad gathered, wagers flying. Cigarettes, rations, pride. Reyes lay prone, the heavy rifle against her shoulder. Her breath slowed. The world narrowed to the wind, the scope, the rhythm of her heartbeat. They didn't know her story. That before the uniform, before the armory, she had lived a different life. A childhood in the mountains, raised by a father who believed survival was the only law. A girl who hunted deer across impossible valleys, who learned to read the wind as fluently as words, who fired knowing every missed shot meant hunger or death for her family. This wasn't new. This was home. Her finger curled around the trigger. The first shot cracked, echoing across the ridge. The recoil slammed into her shoulder. Dust kicked up. The plate stood still. Laughter broke out. "Cross. Not even close!" Reyes didn't flinch. She adjusted. Wind or drop, even the curvature of the earth itself. At 3,900 meters, a bullet didn't just travel through space. It traveled through time. Nearly 10 seconds of flight. 10 seconds for fate to decide. The second shot roared. The desert held its breath. Then, clang. A faint metallic ring carried back across the wind. The laughter died. She reloaded. Fired again. Another pause. Another clang. Silence swallowed the ridge. Again. Clang. Again. Clang. Shot after shot. Impossibly true. By the time the magazine emptied, every man stood frozen. They weren't looking at an armory clerk anymore. They were looking at something else. Something unshakable. Sergeant Cross's grin was gone. His jaw was tight. He had wagered his pride, and lost it all in the desert dusk. Reyes rose, dusted off her fatigues, and walked past them without a word. She didn't need one. The sound of steel ringing across 3,900 meters spoke louder than anything she could say. By morning, the whispers had already spread across the base. No one called her armory girl again. They called her Phantom, a ghost with a rifle, a shadow who never missed. Some swore she was the finest sniper they had ever seen, though she never wore the patch. Others said she avoided the battlefield because she had already fought her wars long before the military found her. But one truth was certain. Sergeant Damian Cross never challenged Elena Reyes again. And the legend of the Phantom grew. Would you have believed she could make that shot before she pulled the trigger?